First, let's start off with the drinks. So you tell me drink of choice.
It was mango go with like some protein from
Dude.
Jamba
And dude,
Juice.
weak protein, by the way, 15 grams of protein. I was like, oh, can I get the protein boost? Like,
Yeah,
15 grams? I'm like, nah, whatever.
well, like, so drinks. It's funny because I've never been like a big drink person. Like I have a weird thing from like my mom's side where if I'm eating food, I can't drink water with it because it makes me nauseous.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Never heard that before.
So if I go to like a restaurant or something, I think people that have like gone out and eaten with me, like, oh, Jake loves like soda. I'm like, no, it's just that like I don't want to be that guy at the restaurant that's like, do you have any naturally squeezed juices? So I just get like a Sprite, but at home it's like water or like I'll get like a really low calorie like those ice drinks from like Costco or something. I'm just not a big drink guy, but like Jamba Juice. This is kind of nostalgic because when me and I don't know if you remember Ammon Felton.
Yeah,
like,
I see him at the gym all the time. Actually.
Yeah, dude. He's like my second oldest friend. When I moved from the Bay Area to here, I met him. So me and him, we used to go with our old like youth leader because we just kind of break off and hang out with him. He's a really good dude, and we just go get these like after like activities. And it's
back
like
in the day, dude.
yeah,
I haven't had Jamba in so long.
I know, dude. It's been years for me. So like when you said drink, I'm like, well, there is one. I was like, I don't know if you want to do it. But.
No, dude, I like this because I've been getting a lot of requests for Sodalicious and Swig. I'm like, I can do soda, but it's like I've been drinking a lot more
Dude,
soda.
I was going to say,
so.
When you said drink, I was like, I'm back in Utah right now. I was like, Sodalicious is like, the soda fountain thing is crazy, man.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's so funny.
I'm down for it, but I'm glad that we got something a little healthier.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, and the protein boost, I was like, hey, I lifted chest today, so.
Just a little extra, heck yeah.
Yeah, man, but yeah.
So one thing to set this up though is this is the quote unquote high school edition, right? So tell us what high school you went to and what you graduated, and I'll jump right into it.
All right, so Mountain View High School, Warren, Utah, graduate year 2010.
Yeah,
but that was technically. So,
I
don't know how many tangents you wanted to go on.
Dude, we're gonna go on all the tangents.
I didn't graduate with you guys, man. So from my gosh,
did you walk with us?
Mm-hmm. So I didn't. I was just too busy messing around with like. So I just hung out with like. I don't want to like say names because I don't know what they're doing. I just with some kids, right? Like I was just in a weird place for like junior year and then a lot of senior year, and I kind of got my act together at the end of it. So I had good grades, but I didn't have enough credits from just like, making some mistakes. So I did not like. So I finished quote unquote high school, but I didn't like graduate. If that makes sense. Like I went the distance.
Yeah.
And then like I met my wife and stuff. We got our GEDs together and got married. And it's like you just realize once you grow up, no one ever asks you. Like this is the first time I've been asked about high school since high school, probably.
Up, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Gosh.
But
that's so true though.
Exactly.
I had no idea actually that you didn't walk with us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one cares.
At the end of the day, no. Like what, 10 years or 14 years later?
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, you didn't graduate?
No one gives a damn. It was just like, whatever, bro.
That's so funny.
All right, cool. So yeah, Mountain View High School, 2010, class of 2010.
All right, second 2010 from Mountain View. I like it. All right, let's talk about Jake in high school. You again, share whatever you want, dude. Like this is up to you. Again, it's just a conversation.
High school is weird. I will just say straight up, I was not a fan of high school. I never did really good in school in general. Not that I'm an idiot or anything, but I just had super bad ADD. Like I still do. If it's not something that I really enjoy or have a passion for, I can't really absorb. And I mean, honestly, that's just my life track. Like since I was a kid, I've liked art, and that has led me my entire life. It's like I do design and stuff today.
That's one thing you can focus on.
Yeah. So it's like high school was sophomore year I was super quiet, and then had a lot of like home life stuff going on. And junior year happened, and I was like, I started hanging out with other friends who were good friends, but I started kind of making funkier decisions here and there. And, kind of got off track with school, and that was also kind of a time in my life where I got off track with like art. It was like the only time in my life where I wasn't doing like my passion. I was just in a rough place.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. I think that's just a broken record thing for most kids in high school. It's like you're just figuring yourself out, and if home life's not great, it just doesn't make it great. Trying to figure anything else out because you just kind of have like a constant misstep.
For sure, I get that.
But yeah, so it's like sophomore year I was quiet, junior year I was like mad. And then senior year, I was kind of just over everything.
Just doing whatever at that point.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, my relationship was like too serious for how old I was, or rather how young I was. And that was kind of making things complex. And
I get that.
Yeah, so it's like, high school was just like, I was just ready to get out of it, man. And as soon as I was out of it, like, I don't know, I was so much more ready to kind of figure out life, if that makes sense.
So what was it about high school? Was it like the actual like the academic side of things, or was it more of the social side of things?
It was a mix of both, you know. I mean, I think like I think obviously academics kind of comes for all of us in a different way. Like, you know, some of us are more gifted. Like I'm really gifted with history. I'm good at history, English, math, and science just beat me, dude. Like I just could not retain math unless it was geometry because it was visual.
I get that. Wow.
But
I
was just
very visual person.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Wow. Visual. Like I did art every year I could. Went to school, like in college, did art, and so it's like it was just really tough academically, and I always just felt like I was inadequate. I had a mom that pushed really hard. You know, my mom's she's a therapist, and she has a bachelor's and master's in psychology, and you know, she's really smart. And then my dad obviously is like an immigrant dropout of high school, like middle of high school, to like help, like, you know, with the family. So I come from like two very different kind of ideologies on that.
Different worlds for sure.
Yeah, and it's like, and then my pops just wanted me to do nothing but play football. And people always ask me, because like, obviously I'm a bigger dude. It's like, did you ever play? I'm like, no, dude, because that's all my dad wanted me to do, and I just didn't want to be that guy. Yeah, I didn't want to be that same stereotype. Not that there's a problem with it or that I'm talking smack. Like,
you just didn't want to do it.
I just want to be that you know, oh, Paulie, like, did you play football? I'm like, no.
And then you wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm like, nah. It's like, and now it's like, people, what would you do? I'm like, I got really into drawing shoes.
What'd you do? Draw shoes?
Yeah, I was like drawing. But yeah, so I mean, academics, kind of a little bit of both. You know, academic side, social side. I felt like a lot of people thought things about me that weren't quite on point. And I think that's just happened. That's just the rumor mill. It kind of chews you up and spits you out. And if you're strong enough to get through it, then you make your good friends, you know?
That's true. Yeah, the people who stay with you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I did. I do feel like all the good friends I made in high school, maybe like take one or two out of there, but most of them I'm still really, really good friends with. Like, I still really love them, really talk to them. And a lot of them moved, you know? Like, one of my best friends has been living in Virginia for years now.
Oh, that's far.
Yeah, it's Josh Terryberry, but he left literally right after high school, basically, and he's been with the same girl. He's got a daughter out there. It's like, and we don't see each other ever, but we're still super tight. So yeah. So I feel like I lucked out at the end and got a good social chunk out of it. So, you know,
a good group to be with, right? And one of those being Marcella, you mentioned. She brought you up too in our conversations. So it's cool. Just the connections, man. Right? Just they're strong.
That one's funny, bro. Dude. Me and Marcella have known each other since we were like 5. Like, really? We met in California. So we both lived in around this little town called Tehachapi that was like by Bakersfield. It was like an hour outside of Bakersfield.
Okay.
And our families were like in the same ward. And so like they babysit us sometimes, me and my little brother Kyle. So like we were good friends and like it was cool and everything. And then my family moved to Utah. And then I finished elementary school here. And then I started junior high. And then 8th grade, all of a sudden she walks into creative writing class at like Lakers Junior High. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, I know you. And then that was it. We just became friends again. And then, you know, went to high school. Back up. Yeah. So it's like I don't see her very often, but I mean, right before you guys had you had her on like your podcast and stuff, I was actually having a really good conversation with her, and that's how it came up. She was like, oh, I did the podcast, and then I went and saw it. I was like, oh, that's sick. Nice. So yeah, she's like literally factually the person I've known longest who's not like a member of my family. Like literally known her for going on 30 years at this point.
Man, that's a long time.
Yeah, just wild. 27 years on the button, something like that.
That is cool because I think that's the cool thing about like strong relationships, strong friendships is I feel the same way about Becca. She moves out of state and she comes back to Utah. It's like we never missed a beat.
Yeah, right.
Catch up's like, hey,
right.
Cool.
Good friendships don't have pressure on them to like be talking all the time. That's the thing. I mean, honestly, that's the thing. But yeah, I love Marcella. She's a sweetheart. She's really good.
It was awesome. A great conversation with her.
Yeah.
So, okay, going back to your high school self, you did a lot of drawing.
Yup.
I'm assuming you can have to tell me the story or your experiences with this, but I'm assuming that translated over and it has translated over to what you do now. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, gosh, I'm like, how do I like string everything together without like going on forever? So okay, so basically, like since I was a kid, right? It's just I've loved drawing, love creating, and I was always like that kid in the class. It's like, oh, Jake can draw it, right?
For sure. Yeah, you're definitely known for that in high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think like most people that know me know that it's just kind of like what I've always done is draw.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to do something when I was really younger, like in low elementary school, before I even moved to Utah. I didn't know that I could like do something with it, because in my mind, right, when you're so little, you just think of like, Leonardo da Vinci and like Michelangelo. You're like, well, that's art, and there's like no in between. Yeah. So I thought when I was a kid, because I like dinosaurs and stuff, I thought I was going to be a paleontologist or an archaeologist. Like that's what I thought, because I was like, well, I can't be an artist because that's not real anymore. Because I was so young, I just had no grasp of like what it was. But pretty much once I hit like 4th or 5th grade, I realized, oh wait, there's lots of applications for designers and art, and then it was at that point like, oh yeah, I'm doing art, like that's what I'm gonna do. So I just kept drawing all the way through high school. I was drawing on shoes. I used to make like custom grip tape and just anything I could do to further like make more art. And then after high school was done, I was just in a weird place at that point, because I just didn't know what I wanted like to do with life or how to get there. Because in my mind, right, I was like, I'm such a bad student that like
like that was the narrative for you at that time, right?
Yeah, I was like, how am I gonna like go to college and stuff, because I'm supposed to be able to absorb information and I suck at that. So like in the midst of that, like I started dating who's my wife. It's like we've been together for, it'll be 13 years in September.
Dude, congrats.
And yeah, man, we got married super young. She, I think like a lot of people ended up like didn't know what the story is, but like she got pregnant. And, I mean, I think a lot of people also think it's one of those things where it's just like, I was just like rubbing my hands together like, ooh, let's go. It's like, no, I really loved her. And then she got pregnant, and she's my best friend, like literally my best friend. Couldn't be more grateful to be with her. But like, it gave me so much guidance, like marrying really young, because it's like, I don't know, just there's like kind of a dormant part of me that was just like, hey, it's time to be a grown-up, basically, right?
Some responsibility.
Exactly. Huh? So I kicked into high gear. I went straight to school, started working a lot in like graphic design there, and I wanted to work in fashion, but in Utah they only had fashion marketing, and that's not design at all, obviously. So I kind of touched back and forth on that, and then I ultimately did switch to fashion marketing, and then it got kind of like bumpy from there, because
you didn't really like that.
Yeah, I didn't really like it, and like, and I was a young dad. I was 20 at the time. I had a 1-year-old daughter, and me and my wife trying to figure things out. We're literally finishing growing up while being while being parents, and
it's a weird time.
Right? It is a weird time, bro. Like it's so odd, and then so we're like, we need to like get out of the state, because we have so much influence from friends and family, and they're so close, and it's so constricting for us. So we left. We moved to San Diego. And
no family out there, no connections.
No family. Well, Lisa, so my wife Lisa, she's from San Diego, but her parents lived in Utah like at this time.
I gotcha.
So not really at that point.
Okay.
So we stayed there for literally only 8 months, because my father-in-law was helping me out, super great guy, and he was helping me out with like bills and everything, and I was like, it's so expensive here. So then after only 8 months, we're like, where can we go to like make this burden less on you, and not make it feel like you're just taking care of us and paying all these bills, essentially.
For sure.
So we moved up to Washington. Vancouver, so it was like right by Portland. It was like on the border of Oregon. Okay. So I went to school there, and as we're up there, this is literally as short as a story can be. Like I'm like cutting out so much stuff.
I love this. This is it.
I'm cutting out so much stuff.
Much details you want, man.
And it's like I'm stressed as hell this whole time, because it's like I want a career really bad, but like I basically promised everyone and their dog that I'm like, no, I'm going to get through college. And I was going to the art institutes, which are notoriously horrible. Like a bunch of them got closed, and it's like, I didn't know nothing about schools. I didn't have a scholarship. I was just trying to go. It's like the art institute. I'm like, I do art, so that's why I went there.
Make it work. Yeah.
Exactly. So I ended up at the Art Institute of Portland, and basically what happened to like start my career was they looked at my credits. I've been to school like 3 years, and they're like, "Yeah, you got like 18 credit hours." I was like, "No, I got way more. I'm almost done." I was like, "I'm like a year out from being done with y'all, like, and then I'm out." And then they just like, "Oh yeah, we see it here, but like some of these classes are a little different." I'm like,
no
yeah. And I'm like, "You guys are all under the same umbrella though." And they're like, "Yeah, but some of our campuses." So they kept guaranteeing me that they were gonna fix the credits, and then at like the middle point of every term, they'd come back and yank the rug out from under me and say, "Actually, we can't." So I got sacked up, dude.
Why'd they do that? What's the purpose of them doing that? To keep you there longer?
It was just money. Yeah, I mean, they basically all got closed down after this. They're super defunct now, and there's a lot of like litigation against them. It's just unfortunate, man. And I was a kid. I was like, I didn't know what the right decision. I was just trying to do what was right for my family.
Yeah.
And just by complete happenstance, the ward, like the church I was at the time, there was a guy who was like a CFO of a kids company and women's wear company called Oki Wear Outdoors. Oh. So they designed like external fits, like kind of like jackets and waders and boots with fun patterns and stuff for kids, because a big thing in like Oregon and Washington is external like outdoor schools. So you learn outside. Like it's kind of like cool. Like literally like going back to the root. Like you don't.
So I got this buddy.
I got a buddy. His name's Kanye. What?
Oh shoot. Okay, that's a great source. Okay, all right, we're back. So
okay, so this guy basically, I sit down with him in my church. And it's literally at church that he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man, I heard that you're like you kind of design stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to school." At this point, I had transitioned into being in apparel design because they had that offering at that school, and I had all my credits basically like, well, they should have lined up, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm in apparel design." He's like, "Bro, why don't you come work for me?" Like he's like, "I can't pay you like a ton." And I mean, this was 2014, 2015.
Okay.
So I was like, "Well, how much you pay?" He's like, $15 an hour. But 10 years ago, that was not bad.
That was not bad. Yes.
And dude, I had no experience designing, and I was just like, "Let's go." So I drop out of school. My wife has like a panic attack, and I don't blame her. But like, I'm like, dude, the school's screwing me. I'm like, I'm doing the system, but they're screwing me. Mm-hmm. Like, and a lot of people that know I went to school like kind of know this story. But dude, I don't have a degree because my college was like, yeah, we're just not gonna deal with like all the credits that you already have. We're gonna try and make you take them again.
That's crazy.
And I was like, no. So to me, I felt like it was honestly like divine intervention. I had my second baby on the way at the time too, and I was like, you know what, like, it just felt right. And so I went and I started working at Oki Wear. I started working on shoes and waders and all the stuff for women's. It's like kind of the same thing, boots, waders. Like they have like some outfits that are just like jackets and nothing too crazy, but I was able to really spread my wings creatively.
Get a lot of experience too.
Yep. And I was 20, let's see, about 10 years ago, so I'd have been 22-ish. So it's like I was still pretty young, and I was just excited to try and get my teeth into something.
Yeah.
And it started like I started, I wasn't going to school anymore at that point because they weren't working with me, like I said, and I was just coming home, and it's like I felt like I was living the dream. I was like, I'm doing it, and that lasted for a bit, and then after about a year and a half, it kind of fizzled out, and we were just like, man, do we go back to Utah? At this point, we'd been gone from Utah for about 3 years. Like literally, we were out of Utah for 2 years and 11 months on the dot.
Jeez.
Lisa was kind of stressed, but she was like, I really miss like being social, because you gotta remember, she's like a year younger than me, so she's 20 years old. She's got like, we got 2 kids, and she's like, I just want to see my friends again. And I'm like, all right, cool.
I get that.
So we go back to Utah, man, and this is where like it gets like kind of crappy. Like I was depressed because the job had stopped basically. Like it had run its course. And I was like, hey, I've got a year and a half of design experience that can be considered, professional, like legitimate.
Yeah.
And I'm 20, 21 years old, 22 years old, and to me, a year and a half is like awesome. Yeah. And I'm like, I can find a job.
Something, dude.
Yeah. And I start sending out like feelers, dude, and I'm getting nothing back. And I mean, and my father-in-law at this point is basically supporting us because the job is dead. I'm not in school. I know to him, I probably look like the kid that knocked up his daughter and is just not going well.
Just a bum, right?
And honestly, man, like I don't blame him at this point because I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And dude, I just kept trying, and then luckily I got this what I call like an in-betweener job at a company called Vox Marketing in Provo. They're kind of like if you went past like the golf course, like past the Provo Mall, they're kind of like over there.
Oh, like East Bay down there.
And like all these like doTERRA and all those companies you see driving on the 15, like heading up to the point of the mountain. We did all of their marketing and design work. That was like what we did at Vox. Yeah. Whoa. So if anything that you've seen in the last 10 years, like I probably touched it at some point.
No way, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it was cool. So like I was a junior graphic designer with them, took a huge pay hit. Instead of $15 an hour, it was $12. My hours were like cut in half. I decided to try and go back to school at UVU. It's like I'm
trying to school again.
Yeah, because it's like
UVU's a little bit more established, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, right? And I mean, honestly, like when you're that age and you're just so hungry to prove to everyone that you're trying to do what's right, every decision you make, you're trying to make the right decision. Like not just because it feels right, not just because it feels right to you, but because it should feel right to like, your wife, your kids, your in-laws, your parents. Like there's still this part of you that kind of has that high school itch to like be proven, I did it.
Very high school for sure.
Yeah, so exactly. So it's like I was going through that, and I think I worked there literally for my birthday, which is in August, until February, and it was the worst, bro. Like I got so much technical experience. I thought I knew like the Adobe suites, like Illustrator and Photoshop. I did not know Nothing.
They're just way advanced.
Yeah, man. So it's like, to me, that was like kind of like God giving me like a job and being like, hey, this is what you need to like really get your teeth sunken into something for the future, like really get your feet set. And me and my boss, he was a cool dude because he was also half poly, so it's like we kind of connected on that level.
Yeah.
But like we disagreed so much professionally. I felt that his design was super stuck in like Y2K, late 90s, early 2000s, and everything I did that I thought was great, he said, like, he literally was like, this sucks. And I mean, dude, it was like I was getting kicked while I was down because I'm making $12. I'm working part-time. I'm going to school. I don't know what's going on with my credits. I don't know like what I'm even going to graduate in at this point because I'm just like, I don't know, you know?
Messy.
Yeah. And I get fired on vacation from that job.
They fired you while you were on vacation?
I'm in Hawaii. And I to be fair, I did say as I was leaving, because one thing I've always believed in, no matter what position you're at in life, you have to hold your head high. You got to keep your chest out because people will walk all over you the chance they get. Like just because like they already knew my situation and stuff. And I just basically told them, look, if you guys don't think I fit, I'm a big boy. Like, we can call it quits. Just like, let me know what's happening. Granted, I did not think they were going to fire me while I was on vacation. And I still remember the text to this day, man. He hits me up, my old boss. Hey, I still consider you a friend. And then like, but I'm firing you. And I was like, a friend?
Oh my God.
No way, dog. I was like, bro. So I come home. I'm kind of like in shambles. I'm like, dude, I'm a loser.
Now what? Now what?
Like, dude, I'm legit. I'm just like, I am a loser, bro. I'm like, I'm a loser. I'm a failure. I suck. Like,
you start getting into your head and then just
bro, it was not a good place to be in. And so I was like, hey, I need to find some kind of a like I need to make like some sort of a log or like an itinerary or something, like a checklist of what I need to do to get the next job. Because at this point, like, yeah, school was there, and I'm like, maybe I'll finish that, maybe not. But honestly, I need to provide now.
Yeah. And
I had experience in like retail, and I was like, I could try and go be like a manager at like a Foot Locker or something, but I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
That goes nowhere. And I just wanted to create. So I basically sunk my feet into place. Like, I was just like, I'm not going to do anything but look for design jobs. And that's what I did. And I think it took me like, let's see, February to May. So February, March, April, May. So like 3 months, I was just trying to be confident.
Just trying to figure it out.
And nothing was coming through. I had like 2 or 3 interviews that felt like they were going good. And because at this point I had about 2 years of design experience, and I felt that was enough to get something around the $15 an hour range, like back then.
Yeah.
Because at this point it's 2017. It hadn't been that long since I started designing. And I'd done a couple other freelance things, but like that's not going to keep you afloat because you can't rely on only freelance, you know?
Yeah, it's so sporadic, right?
You got to market real hard. And so what ends up happening is I get on KSL, I see this position. It's called a technical illustrator, and technically a patent illustrator. And I'm like, dude, this looks like it's for like smart guys. It's like what I thought. I was like, it's for like big brain dudes. And I apply anyway. Like I barely understand what it's saying. All I know is that it's talking about technical drawings, and I'm like, all I know is that I can draw.
Yeah.
And so I fill it out, and for whatever reason, I had this little crappy Microsoft Word typed up resume. And the guy who's now my boss calls me, like for a little jumping in the future. I've been here at this job 7 years.
Woo,
yeah.
Huge, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I get a call from him. He's like, I like you. So we go to dinner together. Like it's like an earlier dinner, like 5 o'clock. And he's just like, hey man, like this is what it is. He shows me basically what is the equivalent of like math like art trigonometry. Like the visuals were very technical and time consuming and really busy, and it scared me. Like I was like, if I can't do this, then I'm screwed.
Yeah.
But I was also like, well, I mean, just swing at it, you know?
Just try, right?
Like, yeah, you know, like let's just swing at it, dude. Like whatever.
Scary time.
So, dude, like, and basically, like, legitimately, it was one of those moments without even being, you know, like a metaphor. And he's like, "Do you think you have what it takes for this job?" And I was like, "Absolutely,
I do." Bring it on.
Swung for the fences, dude. And that first week was like hell week. He literally gave me a project. So to break it down, so basically I'm a technical illustrator for a company called Mammoth Idea. We're owned by a law firm called Mashoff Brennan. Okay. And they have, their offices are in Park City, Salt Lake City, and Orange County. So Orange County's all litigation. They don't do any of like the patent stuff, but like we handle all the visuals. So I literally work on claims so that people can sue other people if they're trying to use their products or make knockoffs. Ooh, so, and this could be anything from like dental stuff, footwear, clothing, VR. Like there's so many different facets of it. And obviously 7 years I've gotten really good. But it's like, dude, when I started that first week,
was it so intimidating,
bro? And dude, to this day, I haven't had a project as hard as the project I had in the first week.
What a way to get into it,
bro. Seriously, it was like, so we do what's called orthographic views. And that basically, it's a view that does not exist in real life because we as people see in perspective. Okay. So if you have an orthographic view of something, it's going to show all the ridges and bumps of it as if we didn't see it from foreshortened terms. As in like, because foreshortened is, if your hand's here, it looks huge. If your hand's there, it looks small.
Right, okay.
So orthographic is, it's all one set like space in time. So it's to make sure that any angle of it, any facet of the design that could be manipulated or tweaked by another company to make a knockoff of it, that's covered. So what I made this first week was a bag that was like bedazzled and covered in jewels and like trinkets. And you can imagine how something like that, you have to draw it at every different angle and get every single bag. Yep.
So detailed.
Yep. And the goal was to get me to learn AutoCAD 2D because all I used was the Adobe Illustrator suite. So my boss hired me. He's like, we're going to teach you as you do this project, but you're going to do all this in Adobe Illustrator, which is way, way longer because you can't do as many hotkey commands as you can in AutoCAD. And it was just a nightmare, dude. It was an absolute nightmare. And I mean, like day 3, I came home and told my wife, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. But I mean, you know, fast forward a couple of years, I mean, me and my boss, he says he considers himself a hard ass. We've bumped heads 3 times in the 7 years that we've
not bad.
And honestly, I consider him a good friend. And it was a huge blessing to my family. I mean, it put me on salary, amazing health benefits. It's a law firm, right? Amazing health benefits.
Taking care of you.
I mean, they load an HSA card for us every year too. So it's like I have health benefits and, you know, health money on top of that. Like it's kind of like their way of getting around the whole like, oh, you have a $5,000 deductible. Give you cash up front for that. I mean, really great benefits. My time that I can be flexible with is amazing. Obviously, I mean, I was like, why don't we just do this right now? And I just left my work. And that's kind of where I've come to. I've been doing this last 7 years. And I mean, even that story, as condensed as it was, there's so much other facets of it. Like these last 7 years have really let me spread my wings and do a lot more like freelance work. I worked with Feist in Salt Lake. It's like a sneaker boutique up there. That was really, really cool.
Designing sneakers up there?
No, they let me design a little collection of shirts and some enamel pins and stuff. It was rad, man. I mean, it was really cool.
How'd they find you? How'd you find them?
So I have a habit of just cold calling people because I'm such a like do it different kind of guy. Not that I think I'm like great for that. Just like I always tell people, I'm literally a double dropout. What do I do? I just hit people up. Like I've tried to call like random like DC shoes before. Just call, email them, like being designer. It's
like
the
worst that can happen, right?
Yeah, dude. And sometimes the best can happen. See, like I've had people before. They're like, let's work together, you know. And that's what I'm with Feist. I was just like, you guys want to design stuff? They're like, yeah. What's your skill level? I just sent some stuff. They're like, yeah, hell yeah, whatever. Let's go. Nice. So yeah, designed with them. It was really cool, really fun, and that's just one thing, you know. I also picked up some side jobs here and there. I was doing kind of online work and making like polymer card dividers for this company called AC Sports at one point. They were trying to make kind of like more accessories for the card market because Topps and like collecting cards for like sports is like really big right now. Kind of like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh is like big again.
Yeah.
So I did stuff for them, and yeah, I just keep creating. And ultimately, because I went to school for apparel and stuff, and I do love fashion, even though I'm a giant dude and I can't wear anything. I've been working on a brand for years that's just like I have samples. Literally right now, samples being shipped to my house.
Really? This is your personal brand?
It's my personal brand. So I do.
Tell me about that.
So it's called Good Friends. And the idea of it, of the name was, because you, like I said, you actually bought a shirt for my first brand, which was called Lavish and Liquor. Yeah. And that was a tongue-in-cheek because I wanted to piss off Utah people. And that had its own little philosophy. The thing I didn't realize with that was I focused so much on cuts and silhouettes that I didn't realize that you can't market how great something feels or looks because people want to see something. Yeah. So I stopped doing that and I just wanted to learn more. So Good Friends kind of was the sort of natural evolution of that. And it's not like gym related now. It's strictly streetwear. And it's kind of like my narrative on life and like mistakes. So I was thinking about the name for it, and I just thought about like what's the one like constant good thing in my life besides family. Awesome. It was friends. Yeah. So I call it Good Friends, and then the R is an X because it looks doubled as the word fiends, and it's just about like everyone making mistakes. So all the art is very kind of like reminiscent of mental health, and it's real like vibey and almost indie-ish, and like reachy in terms of because we're all artists are like cornballs. Like we all consider our visual narratives to like be really hard hitting for people, but really people are like, just give me the cool shirt. And you're like, that's cool. Like,
okay, all right.
And you honestly, and you have to cash in on that. You really do. Yeah. You can't be the guy that's like, no, you need to get like my art therapy side of
brand,
this.
The story behind it.
Right. A lot of people are just like, dude, that's just a cool looking guy. I don't care what your feelings are. And I'm like, that's understandable.
Yeah.
So
that's a good balance of that.
Yeah. And I do a lot. Like I'm working on a pair of shoes right now. I had a pair of shoes made last year. Ooh, this guy's smoking.
Oh,
jeez.
shoot.
Yeah. Dang.
Car's gonna blow up.
I guess. But yeah, I did a pair of shoes like last year. And that was really cool. That was the first time I'd made shoes. Like, I literally just hit up a company because I made jackets and stuff for them. Like, how hard is it to do shoes? Pretty hard.
Is it pretty hard?
Yeah, lots of
learning curve.
Yeah, lots of layering. Luckily, the orthographic thing for my job had given me the skills to really give them the views they need and the layouts, and I know
that just came in clutch then.
Yep, exactly. So, honestly, my job has given me a lot of stuff, quote unquote, to work with in terms of building my own brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something where, I mean, I'm going to be 32 next month, and in my head, I'm like, you know what? If I can get this to be steady and just work on it steady, I think I can be at a decent profitable range by the time I'm 40.
Ooh, nice.
And because I think that's one thing you realize as you get older is you really don't worry about everything being fast. You're just kind of like, that's okay. And also, my kids are old, dude. My daughter's starting 7th grade. Like,
whoa, 7th? Yeah. You have a 7th grader?
Yeah, dude. She'll be 13 in February, man.
Wild.
Remember, dude, we had babies when we were like really young. Like, I was my wife.
Cool though, man. How fun is that?
And well, it's like when they're so like old. She's not so old, but I mean, if you do the math, right? 7th grade, there's only 5 years left, and she's out. Like, she's done with school, man. Like,
do you see a lot of yourself in her? Like,
she's a huge artist, man. She is a huge artist. She's also like darker than I've ever been. She stole all the melanin. So, dude, I was like, because I'm so light skinned, bro. She looks Hawaiian. And then my youngest is really pretty too, but she's like lighter and like blonde. Genetics are just funny.
Blonde. That's
so
interesting.
I know, right?
That's how my girls are too. My oldest one has the more darker features, and then I've got my 2 youngest who are just light brown hair, super white. Like, if I'm walking around with my baby, holding her, people are gonna think I kidnapped her.
Yep.
Like, she does not look like you. Who is this?
Dude, one of my best friends has that where, because he's someone and his wife is like white, like blonde hair, and so she'll go out with her kids and they're like very brown, and they're like, these kids are my kids.
They're my kids.
It's like, shoot. But yeah, so it's like that, like having kids a little older, it really gives you a lot more perspective, because I'm really okay with like working on something for 8 years and hoping that it works out. Like, I was telling my brother and sister-in-law this morning after the gym, I was like, you know, I'm really okay with something where maybe in 2 or 3 years, if I'm only profiting 20 grand, that's still 20 grand that I'm profiting, and everything else is keeping the company going. The only thing that makes that so hard is I'm doing everything. So I work with manufacturers. I'm making size charts, like for t-shirts, because t-shirts, you need to make size charts. Because I'm that guy that's so stubborn where I was going to go third party, like, just have somebody print shirts. You probably have friends that are like, oh, I'm making a t-shirt brand. It's just like screen printed.
Yeah, the brands that people are coming out with.
Yes. Right? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make it like as literally authentic as I can. So I cut and sew everything. Pants, shirts, everything is a size chart that I've made.
You're doing that now?
Right now.
Oh.
So right now I have everything that's ready to be done. I have 4 t-shirts, a pair of sweats, a pair of shoes, 2 jackets. And then I have designs that are laid out for hoodies and hats and stuff, but I haven't been able to do those size charts yet because, again, I'm doing all of it.
Yeah, you're doing everything. So what's the plan with this? Are you wanting to just keep your hand heavy in the operations, or are you wanting to offload that to somebody else eventually?
It's funny you asked that. I just had a talk with my wife about it. And again, like, not that this is me trying to be like, ooh, it's going to be worth so much, but I think that the pie in the sky hope would be that there comes along a guy who wants a chunk of it, and I would love for him to have a chunk of it, and then I kind of stay on and get sort of royalties from being a founder, but then like
he operates it.
Yeah, he operates it, maybe owns a chunk of it, and then I have a contract where I stay on as lifelong creative director.
Nice.
And so it's like
vision. I like the vision.
Right, and it's hard because, like, there's like a vision to it, but again, if you were in my office and saw me working on it, you'd be like, oh, this is like a thing that just isn't out yet. But it's just it's super in depth. Like, Marcella, she's such a sweetheart. She bought one of my jackets. I did a really small release, a 6 release of these jackets. They're green corduroy jackets, huge embroidered patch in the back, front embroidery on both sides, super nice, like green lining, like really sick jackets. Oh yeah. And I sold them all. Like, I did not expect it. I thought didn't, but people bought them. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are the best. And so it's like there's stuff out there, and there's like samples. Like there is like screen printed samples out there that I've made that people people have. And I've made jokes for, like, to my cousin. I actually gave him a jacket for Christmas, and I put a note, and I was like, "We're 10K someday."
Yeah,
like,
hold on to this
because it's like a sample. Because there's now cool green jackets that are out that are the final version of it, and they're no longer corduroy; they're wool. So like the corduroy one, those 6 are the only ones that
rare,
are done.
dude. 6 of 6.
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't matter right now. No one knows the brand, and that's okay because it takes time, and it's like I feel like age brings peace in what you do, and it brings confidence in what you can create. Yeah. So it's like because I've been wanting to do this since I was like, in my 20s, I've been wanting to make my own brand. Again, you came through and got one of those earlier shirts, like, and I've had these skills to make it, but it just gets to that point where you just know that you can, and it just takes time. As opposed to being worried about wanting to do it fast, wanting to make it make your life better.
For sure.
And that's the other side of it, man. Is like apparel. There's so many brands. Fashion is so huge right now. And it's like you could easily get lost in the sauce and just doubt yourself and be like, nah, I'm not going to be able to do it. There's too many brands. But I look at it opposite. I look on Reddit. I'm on subreddits, and I look at tips and tricks, and I look at what other brands are doing. And honestly, I'm like, I don't like a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I just create basically, and I try to never lose focus on the main goal, which is I need to keep creating stuff that I like. Because if I'm not making stuff I like, if I start making stuff because I want it to be marketed and I want it to sell well, then I've lost the whole point of why I started this in the first place. Yeah. So it's just about creating, man. So it's like that's kind of where I've been. And one of the biggest things that makes me happy at the end of the day is would kid Jake look at grown up Jake and be like, oh, sick, that's what I'm doing? And yet he would for sure. He'd be like, that's sick, bro. He's like, you're doing drawing everything. That's all we wanted. So that really helps me come back to my vert every day.
So I asked 2 questions to everybody. That's one question you already answered. You can expand on that if you want, but it's if your high school self, or even just like younger self at any point, right?
Yeah.
Saw where you're at right now, how would they react?
Dude,
sounds like
he'd flip his lid, bro. He would flip his. I mean, I even think back to when I started my design job in my early 20s. I mean, if I could talk to him, he'd be like, dude, at 31, we own a house and we work at home and we have an office, and it's a respectable job. It's not just another graphic design job.
Yeah.
I think that I've come really far. It's hard. Design work and art is very underpaid, and that's okay. Because it's just we do it because we love it, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I think high school me would be very proud of who I've become, and also proud of the fact that not a lot of people end up doing even something adjacent to what they wanted to do as a kid. For
sure, and you're the first person who's gone to that point.
Oh, really?
High school self to from art to you now, still doing art.
Yeah,
first person who's still doing that.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's exactly what I wanted it to be, man. It's and hopefully, like I said, by the time I'm in my late 30s, early 40s, that this will have worked out. And luckily, I have a really supportive wife who's also a creative. She's a photographer. And so we just support each other in each other's endeavors. And it's just again, when you have kids too, and they're older, you almost want to prove to your kids that they can do anything. And it's how can you prove that if you don't prove to yourself that you can do anything?
Yeah, it's just lip service at that point if you don't do it right.
It is, man, honestly. And it's I don't want to be like that. So yeah, I think that high school me would be stoked with where I'm at.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other question that I always ask is, what's one piece of advice if you could go back to your high school self? What would that one piece of advice be? Just some
that
reflection.
Is such a good. I'd say I want to give some super deep. But honestly, my answer would be start working on Adobe products.
Really, just get into Adobe.
Yeah, get into Adobe, man. Because I grew up without a lot of computer access, and it really did stifle my growth as an artist to not be in digital. I mean, I was so staunch about just not doing digital stuff. I was like, no, it's cool. Tigger Hatfield designed the Air Jordan 3s, and he still draws on paper. Honestly, my advice to myself would have been getting computers and stop being a smartass.
Just do it.
Just do it. That would be my advice to myself: is get into design immediately. This will make your life so much better.
Were there any? I have no idea. Were there any high school classes with Adobe or anything like that related?
There was. Mr. Brown had a multimedia class that I took, and I will tell you right now, I was so confused. The ADD. Dude, I remember that he would. Okay, we're gonna do this. I would write it down. and then I would do it. We're gonna do this. Write it down. Then I do it, and somehow every time I would miss a step. The notes I took meant nothing. Where I was in the file didn't make sense, dude. And it's like even now, I try really hard to help people learn the program because I know it's hard. There's literally a guy in that subreddit I'm talking about, the streetwear one.
Yeah.
He was trying to, hey guys, I've never done design or anything. I've always had a dream to make a brand, and can anybody help me? And he was just kind of getting clowned. And I just sent him a DM. I was like, dude, I'll literally teach you for free. And he lives in Montreal.
Awesome.
And he's like, all right. He's like, you're not a creepy dude, right? I was like, no, you're not a creepy dude, right? He's like, no. We get on a Skype, and dude, I just got into the meat and potatoes of it, man. I was like, let's get you learning. Awesome. And I just taught him. And now he's working on his brand called FNN. He's in Montreal, and he's building his own brand, and I teach him because it's just important, man. We need more people to help other people, not like
to mentor, right? That's huge.
Yeah, gatekeeping is real, bro. People really gatekeep so hard, and it's so whack. I'm like, dude, just if you're so worried about that, like, don't be in this business then. Like, just let someone else create.
It's just a lack of abundance mindset, as if like if I tell this person, that means less for me. It's like no. If you're doing a good job, there's always going to be something for you.
Exactly, dude.
But some people that's what I'm saying. They don't see that. They're just lack of abundance, which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
So wild. But when it comes to, so we kind of gone over what you did in high school, what you're doing now, your goals, your career, you kind of done that.
Yeah.
You're still doing the same thing now, kind of you share whatever you want, personal level.
Yeah.
You've got kids, you've got a wife. How'd you meet your wife? How many kids do you have?
Oh man, how'd I meet my wife? All right. Well, okay. First of all, I love this story. And if my wife sees this, she's going to be like, you're a dumbass. Because I always tell exactly how I lived it. And I feel like she always gets mad. But like, because it paints her like she was down bad for me. And she was. So I don't care. So bring it on. This is what happened. So I was dating a girl at the time. And I'm not going to mention her name because I don't mean any ill word to her. So there's no reason to drop a name. But I was dating a girl at the time.
Okay.
And things have been going kind of rough for us. You know, not that it was my fault, not that it was her fault, whatever. And we go on a break, and Ammon coming up. Shout out Ammon, love you, bro. And he hits me up. Hey, bro, there's this girl.
This was in Utah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this was like only a year after we graduated, if that.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah. We were dumb young, dude. Like, this is 2011.
2011.
I know. Okay. Feels like a lifetime ago, right?
And no rush either.
No, for sure. So he's like, yo, man, like, there's this girl, and she's like a lifeguard at Seven Peaks.
Oh, those lifeguards at Seven Peaks.
I know, man. I know. And he's like, I really like her, and we're supposed to go to like hang out at her friend's house, and it's like this rich girl, like up Springfield Canyon.
Ammon liked her.
Ammon like the Ammon like this girl.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, we're gonna hang out at her friend's house up Springfield Canyon.
Yeah.
He's like, it's this rich girl, and I cut him off. I'm like, bro, I don't like rich people. Immediately.
Red flag, boom.
Yeah, he's like, dog. He's like, just come with me. Be my wingman. We're like douchebags, right? It's like we're like teenagers. We're assholes. We're just like, bro, be my wingman. We don't know what's going on. It's like none of us have any game, whatever.
No.
And I give in for whatever reason. I'm like, fine, let's go. So to skip past most of it, we get there. The friend with the big mansion stuff is my wife. That's like, so her name's Lisa, and it's like, I meet her, and it's like I was kind of in a weird place because I was on a break with my girlfriend, and I was pissed off at her, and so I was like didn't know what to do with anything else. So it's like I'm kind of like avoiding everybody. I'm having a good time, but I'm like I'm just not really
I'm not getting into it with
people. Yeah, I'm not really being extroverted at all. And like, you know, she's beautiful and stuff, but I was just kind of like it's just not where my head was. I was just too lost in the sauce with my life in general, as I just told you all this stuff. Like at this point in 2011, I'm a dropout loser without a GED, and I like to draw. Like that's. And the drawing has no professional value whatsoever. Like I have right, exactly. I have just as much worth as the next guy that draws and has done nothing with it. And so I'm just really angsty. And she comes up to me and slams my face with one of those god awful March snowballs from Utah, where it's like the snow is like dirty and like gritty. Nasty, it's like only around in like snowdrifts that are melting. And I'm like, what the hell? And I have no tact, bro. I pick her up and throw her in the whole pile. And it wasn't like a playful, like, oh, this is cute. No. I was like, bro, eat a dick. Like, I was like, I don't know you like that. So I throw in the pile. Everyone's kind of like, oh, ha, ha, ha. But you're being serious. Yeah, I'm just like, you guys suck. I'm like, why am I here? Yeah. So I start walking back, and dude, and this house is huge, bro. This house is 16,000 square feet.
Jeez,
And
okay.
like, Brent Brown, like the automotive guy, it's he bought the house. Like, they don't live there anymore. Yeah, he bought their house. Like, it's massive. So when I say I go to walk in the house, I'm walking like a football field length to get back in, because it's just the back. Yeah. And so then I get inside, and my to be like future wife comes running up after me with more snow.
She thought you were playing.
Kind of. I think that she either did, or she just wasn't going to take no for an answer. So we get inside, and she shoves it down my pants. And I haven't even really talked to this girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I wasn't really oblivious, and I was like, oh, maybe she likes me.
And all of a sudden it just clicks for you.
And then I was like, maybe I won't throw her. And that's how we met, bro. Like, that's how we met. And then and literally since that moment we've been inseparable. Like, she had just got in a relationship. We're like, yeah, we both don't want one. 2 weeks later we were like official. And
usually how it goes.
Yeah, and I'm that girl who was the friend that like introduced us. She married John Chaney. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
And we Morgan. Do you know Morgan?
Morgan?
Yeah, because she knows like Becca and like Ian Grosbeck and them, like through
I'm sure if I saw
John Chaney. Yeah, but like, she's a sweetheart. Morgan's awesome. And so like, it's kind of this weird interconnected, like she met John at our wedding, and then like,
oh, for real, and they hit it off there, and just
and then like, they kind of so they just really had a second baby.
No way.
Yeah, so it's like, it's kind of this interesting, everybody knows everything. So that's basically, I met my wife, and then that night she didn't let me leave without giving me her number, and like kissed me on the way out, and then I called my girlfriend the next day, and I was like, yeah, we're done. It's over, bro. I was like, this girl got money, I'm set. Like,
and then fast forward a few years, like, I'm the worst piece of shit.
Dude, I know. It's like, because obviously, like, I didn't really think that, but it's kind of, I think it's like, it was just funny, because that's just how it ended up. Because of course I'm like, oh, I don't like rich people, and then whatever. I know, which is funny, because my brother Kyle's the same way, and then like, this is the house that we're staying at, because he married like not like they're mean rich people or anything. They're wonderful family. But
I get it.
Yeah, so that's how I met her, man. And we have 2 kids now. Like I said, my oldest, she's gonna be 13 in February.
7th grade. That blows my mind,
dude.
Is that just unreal for you,
bro? And middle school, because middle school here changes based on the district, and so in California it's all 6, 7, 8. So she's starting her 2nd year of middle school.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so
6th grade.
Yeah, so because 9th freshman, she'll be in high school. It's 4 year, so 9, 10, 11, 12. So she'll be starting in the middle of middle school. Super proud of her. She's way smarter than I am. I mean, dude, I can't.
That's so awesome.
I can't help with her.
The best, right?
Oh, dude, I can't even help with her math homework. Like, really? Dude, no.
I mean, you struggled back then. What do you think?
No, it makes me feel better, because like, she'll come to me for social studies and history, and I can.
You excel.
And I can help with that. Yeah,
that's cool.
She's super into her culture too. She's like, she's a quarter Tongan, but she looks way more than I ever have. I'm mad light skinned, and she looks Hawaiian.
Did you get what kind of race or ethnicity or whatever did you get back in the day? Like, would you get just a bunch of everything but Tongan?
Dude, I'm so ethnically ambiguous, and basically, yeah. Other Polynesians would recognize that I was Polynesian, which made me feel good in my heart. But I've gotten this a lot at the gym. Just, dude, man, you're a strong, big old white boy, like stuff like that. It's like, nice. I mean, which is, people don't know me. I'm not gonna be that guy that's like making a whole, Brown Lives Matter movement for myself. Like,
yeah, for real.
I'm
Tongan.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And it's like, I don't know, once I grew up all the way in like, tats and everything, and my nose and lips and whatever, piercings, who knows, mullet. I think people were like, he's either. So, and that's fine. But yeah, so it's like both my kids are super into like their ethnicity, love Moana and all that.
Dude, you gotta start somewhere though, right?
Oh, exactly.
Keep going with that.
Yeah.
So you have 2 then. How old's the second one?
So my second, she just turned 9 in May. She's a Cinco de Mayo baby.
Oh, nice.
And man, she's super high energy, such a sweetheart. And both my kids, like, I know everyone's like, man, my kids are the best. Dude, they're so well behaved. We just finished a 10-hour drive yesterday to get here, and dude, not a peep. They're
just chilling back there doing their thing.
Dude, they've been so well behaved their whole life. I like I'm like crossing my fingers that it's like not gonna hit when they're teenagers. Because my youngest is a huge daddy's girl, and I'm like, it would sort of be right for her to like get to junior high and be like, I hate you, like, and I'd be like,
I was kind of expecting that,
right? Like, I'll see you again when you're 21.
Yeah, still hurts, but
like, exactly. So
Oh man, has the boy scene started for her already? Like, is she like? Think boys are cute? Is that weird for you? Because My daughter's 7, and she's just like, it's inching just a tiny bit. I see a little bit, and it kills me.
They don't really talk about it very much, but my oldest, she's very reserved, and she's really annoyed with boys right now. Because, like, I mean, you remember being like 7th grade, 8th grade boy, dude. Like 7th and 8th grade, Paul was busting my knuckles with quarters, dude. So I'm like, that's what she's dealing with, right? Yeah, dude. So it's like she's dealing with it, and she just doesn't really like him right now. She's like, they're so annoying, and I'm like trying to give her the inside like scoop. Where I'm like, you know why they do that? She's like, why? I'm like, because they think they look cool. And she's like, I think they look dumb as hell. Like, exactly. Like mad. I was just like,
back in the day, like, we were the coolest.
And they think that dad was above it. They're like, did you do that? I was like, hell yeah. I was like, I thought girls thought I was so cool. I was running so fast. Like,
oh my gosh, that was the fastest nobody.
Yeah, I was so fast, and they were like, wow, look how fast he runs. No girl cares. You know, it's like this weird dude thing we all do. It's like when you grow up and you go to the gym, and you realize only other dudes care. I was
just gonna say that. I get the most compliments from dudes. I'm like,
yep.
Okay, cool. Nothing's changed.
I tell them all the time, because it's like I ended up, you know, I was fairly lean in high school, but I got dummy strong after school. Like, I just got really into lifting for my health and my stress, and my wife does not care. Like, she likes that I'm a big guy.
You're
but
strong, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but like a bench, like, it's like she does not care, like what I bench, what I squat. She's like, yeah, good for you, babe, whatever. Like, cool, sweet,
doing it, got her.
Yeah, exactly. They don't care at all. But yeah, my oldest, she's kind of like, I think this year, I think 7th will be the year that she'll start kind of liking boys. But I don't think I'm going to hear about it. I think mom's going to hear about it.
Oh, it's a mom thing.
But here's the thing. I'll say this. I'm okay with that. And I have no plans on being harsh about boys or being like that big, like, ooh, I've got a shotgun douchebag dad.
For sure.
I just want to be a dad that's you know, understanding of my kids' choices, because they got to grow.
Yeah,
you know,
they got to
figure it out
and stuff too.
Yeah,
right?
dude. And they're in California, so it's like it's kind of like a different scene out there for for that
compared to Utah, for sure.
Yeah, like I'm hoping that they won't feel as pressured. I mean, you know, we still go to church out there and stuff, but I mean, we do it way differently, obviously.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they still got to figure out who they are and what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure for you, and maybe I'm wrong, but all those experiences, that story that you told me, you probably wouldn't change that for the world. It's like you probably learned so much along the way, right?
No, dude, I'm blessed to be where I'm at and to have experienced the things I've experienced. I mean, I don't think I'm wiser than anybody else or anything. I just think that I'm really blessed to have been able to do the stuff I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Just always want to do more for myself and always compartmentalize chasing my own creative goals and being a good dad and being a good husband.
Yeah, that's all that matters right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate, you know, trifecta of, like, if it's somebody else, you know, that's a dad and a husband, then those are their 2 pillars, and then replace creative with whatever their passion is, right? Yeah, exactly, I mean, that's the most important thing, because that's, if you don't have those, like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It really comes down to, like, at least for a father, for a lot of people that I've talked to, provide, protect, preside, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good, right? Yeah, no, that's great too. Yeah, no, exactly, man. It's just, and I feel like it feels so weird to be like turning 32 and like legit, I could be a grandparent, not doing that weird thing where it's like technically at 18, when my daughter's 25, I could be a grandparent at 44.
That's young, dude. That's fun though, dude.
That's,
you have
I know.
Energy
and it's like, I won't push her to have kids. Like, that's one thing I'm trying to get myself and my wife to kind of get on board with now. Not that she's not, but we just haven't really talked about it as much. Is I really want to make sure my kids don't feel pressured to have kids. I want them to do it in their own time. Because it's like, I feel like right now it's people are so, how are we supposed to have kids? We can't afford rent. And I'm like, you ain't wrong. Like, I'm like,
we're all struggling here.
I'm only able to do it. Like, yeah, I have a career and stuff, but like, it's like, I'm only able to do it because my in-laws are wonderful. They've always helped us with our financial decisions. And it's like, we were able to take advantage of good opportunities there and invest in that. So it's like, not everybody has that. And I'm aware of that. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, I don't ever want my kids to have to be forced to have kids. I'd love it, but for whatever. Sure. It's just weird how young I am and how
it could line up for you being a grandpa.
That's what 40s. I'm saying, dude. Like, you get to the point, like, in 7.5 years, my kid's 20, and that's weird.
Shoot,
I know.
Years.
I know. It's because those little numbers mean more when you're younger, right? Because it's like, you said your daughter's 7, right? Mm-hmm. It's like 7.5 years. She'll be 14.
That's weird.
Mine will be 20, bro.
Wild.
Like, wild. It's a little bit different. So it's I feel like it's a weird thing. So and that's, you know, not to like keep going on, but that's another reason why I'm really at peace with the brand and the creative stuff, is because my time as a dad, like in terms of, you know, daddy, like that kind of, it's coming to a close quick. Like, I mean, they're 12 and 9, and people are like, they're not that old, dude. Again, 5 years, she'll be done with high school. My youngest will be 15.
It's so different.
Yeah, and it's just, it's like, and I'm not saying that in a sad way. It's just I've really found patience and acceptance in that time it's going to take, because I'm okay with it. I'm not on a timeline to try and like make my kids' lives better right now, because they love their life already, and it's like they're not going to care if all of a sudden dad's making, you know, way more money, because they already get everything they want. They've never wanted for anything, and that's the biggest blessing I could give my kids. So
yeah, really seems like you're somebody who's living in the now, or just appreciating the now, right? It's like, I'm not trying to rush to anything. I'm not trying to get to the grass is greener on the other side type deal, because grass is green here. Exactly. Even if it is tough, right?
Yeah, now, and it always will be.
Exactly, yeah. I think a lot of people struggle with that mindset. Okay, so there's good friends things. Are you currently selling something? Because I want to get something.
It's not up yet, man. It's so hard, because I've actually it's so awesome, because so many people have been like, "Are you up yet?" I'm like, "I'm not."
It's coming,
and I feel so bad. Dude, I'll send you some. I have stuff like, I'll send you behind the scenes stuff, like of when the jackets are being made and stuff. I'll send you stuff so you can see. I mean, do not feel like you have to buy something, but I do think it's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Like the stuff I'm like, dude, like I'm the shirt. So I have right now a sample that's coming. I have a shirt sample that's coming where it's going to be testing the fit, and the GSM. So it'll be a little heavier weight shirt. Nice. And then the sweatpant is going to be the same, a little bit heavier. Like basically, like I don't know if you know brands too well, but there's a brand called Fear of God, and a brand called A Bathing Ape. But they're my two like ideal brands that represent what I would like to like mash together. It's like kind of really quality, like relaxed fit clothes, but cool graphics. Yeah. Because I just love graphics. Like I'm not trying to do something that's you know not been done before, because it's just art on clothes, but it's what I love. Yeah. But dude, once it's up, I would you'll hear about it, because there is an Instagram page for it. It has like one post, and it's like for some reason it's all like the post is like skewed. I don't know what happened when the upload happened. And I was like, I'll come back and delete that later. I never did. I'll fix it. Exactly. So it's not up yet, but it will be soon. Cool. And yeah, man, it's just.
So do you have a tentative timeline for this?
I'm hoping either by the end of this year. Yeah, no, by the end of this year. Like I was gonna say or next, but I'm like, man, it's been too long. Like literally the only reason stuff's not up right now is I'm waiting for these samples to make sure that the shirt sizing is good. Because here's the thing is like, if this shirt sizing is good, it will be the shirt layout that I use. So I can just swap in different materials, colors, designs, because they'll just use that same exact template, right? Yeah, same exact template, that same exact pattern. Same with the sweats, same with the jackets. I do have a program that's called the One of None program, and it's sick. Ammon's already done one where basically a lot of fashion companies back in the day were started with what's called couture, and that basically means that they were companies that would make their brand, but it's specific to you. So it's not what's called off the rack clothing, which is what we all know today. Right. It's literally that brand made something for you, and it's custom tailored to you. Whoa. So like Ammon made a jacket that's got like this cherry blossom tree and this samurai girl in the back, and like it's got my brand and stuff, but he designed it. The interior is cherry blossom. The exterior is like a satin polyester, like silver shine kind of weave. And I'm excited for that, because it's kind of like, I want to bring back couture. I want to bring back fashion where like cool. So the option will be there for people to have a piece from my brand that's not off the rack. Yeah. Something tailored just for them. Yes. You don't see that very often. So I think that'd be cool to bring that out. Exactly. So there's a lot of stuff I have that's kind of like, it's like I'm just loading rounds in and I just haven't fired yet. But you're prepping. You're still working behind the scenes. Dude, I have hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes of designs and stuff, like just stuff that's been built up over years and years and years. I'm ready to make it. It's just honestly, the thing that takes so long is I'm so lame about websites. Like I'm like, it's got to be really cool. My wife's like, dude, everybody's website right now, the whole website vibe for fashion is less is more. Like it's all just white sites, and just here's our clothes. I'm like, you're right. I got to do that and just have my logo and be okay with it. And be okay with it. Probably your ADHD kicking in. Be like, it 100% is, dude. And it sucks. And what sucks even worse is there's actually a brand out there that's called Good Friends with an R, but they make like really basic like stuff. Not basic like in a way I'm insulting them. They literally make basics simple and essentials. So it's like they're called Good Friends, and it's like I was worried about it. I'm like, I don't think we're gonna have problems because we are so drastically different. Like it's almost like streetwear versus just a white t-shirt. That's really it. That's really it. Like if you went to Target's men's section right now, that's kind of what they make.
Oh,
just which is okay, you know, that's totally fine, and they have a lot of followers and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not changing the name. Like, if we end up court battling, we'll do it later. Like,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I was like, there's an X in my name, it's fine. That's, you know, that's never been a problem. Me literally working in like legal claims, I'm like, yeah, that won't be a problem. Maybe
fingers crossed they don't find it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, but you know what, if they do sue me, I'll know I made it. So
yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's the okay. So somebody told me that it's like you've made it when somebody has sued you.
Yep.
And my company has been sued so many times, not so many times as if we're like the worst company in the world, but people complain, people get too happy, whatever.
Yep.
And we were getting sued, and somebody told me, I'm like, that doesn't help me. This sucks right now. We got through it obviously, but just when you hear that, like, you definitely made it.
Well, it's like there's this creative. He started a company, and he does really well. It's like a really well-known company called Acronym. His name's Errolson Hugh.
Mm-hmm.
He has this really great line that I heard him once in an interview he had, and I love it. And I try to live like artistically off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And I love that, because if someone hates what you're doing, it still means it affected them in like a real tangible way. So it's like the worst thing that could happen to me wasn't if like I dropped all my clothes and people were like, we hate all of these. Mm-hmm. The worst thing could happen is I drop all my clothes and people are like, whatever. Like that would suck. Like if people were like, I hate it, it's like they have an opinion.
You got a reaction out of it. You got
they have an opinion.
It, right?
Like there's a visceral reaction. Like it's cool. And I've literally, ever since I heard him say that, it was years ago I first heard him say that, I'm like, that is a really good way to live life. Not just for creatives, but anybody. Just anything you do, it's like if someone was indifferent about it, it's kind of like, remember being a kid and your mom, you'd be like, can I do this? And they're like, whatever. You're like, it was like worse than like getting beat. You're like, whatever. Like, I want you to like have some input on my life, right? Yeah. So it's like that. I feel like it goes for more than just creatives, right? That's
really cool.
Yeah. Opposite of love is indifference, not hate. It's indifference.
Yeah. You don't want that. Damn, that's deep.
Yeah. Wasn't mine. It's Errolson Hughes, but still, yeah, cool. I try to live. It's a great creed to like live life by. It makes creating so much less pressurized. Like anything I make now, I used to make stuff and I'm like, that's lame, and now I'm like, someone's probably gonna think that's cool, and I just make it happen.
I like it. You just do it. I think that's huge. I think that's a huge block that people have to get past. And to your point, to everything in life, you do anything, it's like, oh, I don't want to post this, or I don't want to say that, I don't want to do this,
right?
Because people are gonna think this, and that's like, just do it. And that's the hard thing, right?
Dude, it really is. Honestly, it's just pulling the trigger. I mean, I couldn't imagine myself doing this stuff 10 years ago, like being able to just like, I want to make a jacket and just doing the entire process. That's nuts. Like,
yeah, that's really cool.
And that's just my example of myself. That's not me like, oh, look what I can do versus everyone else. Just in terms of the stuff that I've worked up to for me personally, that's what I think is cool. Just seeing progress over the years.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the coolest part.
So one last thing.
Yeah.
One piece of advice, because I think the people who would listen to this and are kind of in your industry, in your field, what's one piece of advice that you would give them if they're trying to build out a brand? And that's what we just spoke about was the advice right there.
You know what? If you're trying to build a brand, I will say right now, because I'm struggling with this so hard, is really, really figure out your marketing. Get your platform really like super solid. Know who you're marketing to. I do know who I'm marketing to, but figure out your marketing scheme, because that's one thing that I'm so bad at. And that's what's been so hard is I'm so good. I can do literally everything else, but marketing, man, I'm not the best with marketing. So I'd say either find someone who's close to you, who can be in your corner to help you, or, you know, get your boots on the ground, get online, look at some stuff, look at potential, you know, beginning marketing plans. And I am for myself as well. But honestly, if I had looked into this more 5-10 years ago, I'll be way more ready to drop this brand. I mean, it really is like, so like Jordan Peele sweating me, and people are like, so is stuff out, can I buy it? I'm like, I'm like, I promise it's super cool, but it's not for sale yet. Like, damn it. Like, it's
that weird limbo phase.
Yeah, man, it's wild. Like one of Emma's younger brothers was like, can I buy this tea? And I was like trying to like find a way to like ghetto, like kind of like backtrack, maybe just third party, have it printed, send it to him, and it just got into its own mess. And I was like, just wait a little bit, I'll let you know. So yeah, I'd say that's my biggest opinion. If you're trying to figure out a brand, make sure you know what your marketing is. Everything else will come. I mean, there's a million different ways to design today. Procreate, you can third party print, you can get your own screen printer, you can do ArtJet. Like there's so many different ways there, but marketing, it's a one of one. Like you have to know how to market. And that's the biggest thing. The biggest hurdle for me is is knowing how to market, and I'm trying my best to figure that out.
Damn, so. you should have stayed with fashion marketing.
Dude, I know, it's funny. I was gonna say, because like that was the first thing, and I was like, I hate this, and I'm like, it makes sense that I hate this because it's not what I'm good at.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. When you look back, I mean, it sounds like you're really leaning into your strengths, and it's been working out for you. So
yeah, man, it's all I got. Like I make the jokes all the time. Like, God made me strong, and He made me creative. Like that's the two things I got, bro. I'm like, that's all I got. Dude, so awesome. Whatever. But yeah, man,
that's cool. Well, hour, dude. I always tell people, hey, it's gonna take 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, and like I'm here for an hour and a half. I enjoy it,
dude.
I think it's
no,
awesome.
You're fine. If anything, I feel bad. I'm like, oh man, should I stop talking?
No. This whole thing is about just having that conversation with you, just learn about you. Seriously, because I mean, back in high school, we would talk and be like, hey, what's up, man? Just the little things here and there. But like, I've never heard your story. I've never heard, and that's what I really want to get into with people. It's like Marcella, same thing. Talk to her every once in a while. She was really cool, nice friend. But like after that, never talked to her. So.
I think that's cool, man. I think it's really cool to like, I mean, when I hit you up the first time, I was like, dude, this is cool, just good vibes on this. You're like, dude, you should be on. I'm like, oh, shoot, okay. I was like, sounds good. Yeah, because I was like, and then you told me that like you served around the place that I live right now.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh, that's wild, dude. I was like, dang,
small world.
Yeah, I know, man. I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll hop on there. I think it's cool though. Like, I think I saw like Scott Laxton did
Scott,
and I was like, and it's kind of like that with me and Scott. Like, it's like I was like, oh, what's up? Like, totally cool with him, like no problems. And so it's like I think we touched base once or twice after high school. Like, I know that he was doing, I think, is he real estate now?
He's in real estate right now.
Yeah, and that's cool. It's like, it's cool to see what people are up to, because like there's Facebook, Instagram, and it's like, in a weird way, all the social media is just like, it feels like it's more stuff that actually keeps us even further apart, because it's almost like more walls to knock down to get to that person. Whereas like, like 30 years ago, it's a phone call. That's it. Now it's like, why are you talking to me? We're not friends on Instagram. Like, or I don't follow you. We're not friends on Facebook.
That's
like,
so true.
Like,
people just get turned off by that.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of the same as like, I have a harder time doing external work for people for freelance, because my followership on Instagram is low, because I don't put work into it, because I'm a salaried guy. I have a job.
Don't need to, right?
I don't need to, but sometimes people be like, I don't know if I want to use you because you have 600 followers. I'm like, I have 10 years of experience.
Said that?
Yeah, I've had that happen. Dude. They're like, why don't you have more followers? I'm like, because I don't. This is like, the work you're trying to buy from me is not my main job. Like, and because my other thing, obviously, I put time into is my brand.
Yeah. For
sure. So, and I've lost people like that before. They're just like, well, I think I'll go with someone that has 10,000 followers. I'm like, why? And it's like this kind of interesting. They were like, because their art is not more proven, their marketing is, which. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to argue with it, because it works. Because you can see how it works. I mean, I've lost projects to people that suck.
Yeah.
But they're really, really good at marketing, And it's like, Tom's decided to use them because they have 15,000 followers. They're like, speaking of which, I can use my Posca markers to draw on my Toms.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like it's funny because I look at that and I'm also like, I don't want to do that ever.
That's just not what you want to do. That's why you haven't done it.
Exactly. And I'm like that, but that's what I have to kind of figure out my mindset on, so I don't mess it up. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Marketing branding is crazy because it's not the person who necessarily knows the most who's going to win. It's the person who gets seen the most.
It's the person. Yes, it's exactly right. I mean, that's why we have so many famous people that are so dumb.
Oh yeah.
I mean, honestly, not that I'm smarter than them, but I, as a dumb person, could be like, that guy's dumb.
Yeah, and that means more coming from a dumb person.
It does, man. I'm just like, I know he knows as much or less than me. So
it's like, he should not be up on this podium.
Exactly, bro. I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. But yeah, man. So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on this, dude. I know it's your vacation, family time, so
no, man,
I can steal you away for a little bit. The joke with my wife is like, hey, I'm gonna go on a date, because it's like, I'm gonna go pick him up, and then I'm gonna get him a drink, and we're gonna go talk. And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's like, you want on a date with a guy this time? I'm like, yeah, I'll be back in an hour.
Dude, I'm like one of those big jokes about me and like all my friends just being like boyfriends is off the chain. It's like to a point where my wife's like, I can't handle you, which is fine, dude. Thank you for coming and like grab me, because I was like, I'll meet at 12. My wife's like, actually, I'm taking the car, and she took it even earlier. They left at like 9:30.
Oh shoot!
I was like, all right, and she's out with my friend's wife and their kids, and because me and my buddy we're both like working. Like, I mean, obviously I'm doing this, but I'll go back tonight. I'll work again.
Yeah.
And it worked out. So I just told her, I'm like, well, I want to do this podcast. I think it could be fun. I haven't done something like that in a while.
Yeah,
I didn't finish that story. It's 2 seconds.
Let's see. No, dude, it takes longer. No rush, dude. Let's hear it.
So the other thing I did, it was because my cousin who does music, He was,
oh yeah, we started with
I know. It's
okay.
my bad. So he does music, and he did it with his friend. And again, the difference in age to us made it so like when I was like 17, they were like 13, 14, but it was just like I was like the big kid to them.
I gotcha, yeah.
But now this kid, like who's my cousin's friend, he's like one of the biggest like, how do I say this? Weed dealers. I don't know,
yeah,
and like
call it as it is.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's like I love my relationship with him because he's such a cool dude. And then my cousin's a way cool dude. His music's sick. He goes by Mies, M-I-I-S, and he does really, really cool music. He's pushing his stuff, but he's been doing it for years. And I got brought in to be the head of a creative they're trying to start called Lockjaw, and they stopped doing it because some of the guys that I used to be friends with in high school were like, hey, we have something that sounds similar, so stop doing it. Ooh. Yeah, it kind of can cause problems, but it was cool to be on there because we were trying to do like a brand for them. And I did actually make shirts for them, and those were actually pretty sick for being an earlier thing that I did. Very 2015-ish, like zippers on the side. Yeah. And but still cool nonetheless.
Yeah, and, for the time, right?
Yeah, cool. And that was the only other time I did a show. I was on a radio show with them, and it was super weird and asking these questions, and they're like asking me about brands and like it's kind of similar stuff to you asked me, and I'm like doing my best to answer, but I'm like way less experienced.
Oh yeah.
It was like 2017, something like that. And I mean, now I look back and I'm like, I was probably just like talking out my ass so hard, dude. Just like leaving and just like, nobody look up my name, nobody Google my name.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, don't tag me, don't put me
yeah, exactly. Do not at me, literally, because it will ruin my life.
Yeah, somebody listens to it like, what the hell is this dude talking about?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's like I wanted to come and do this because that was the only other thing, and now I don't know. When you're like, dude, be on, I'm like, that sounds like fun.
Heck yeah, dude.
Sounds a good time. And I was like really quiet in high school for the most part, other than people that knew me, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. It's good to get your name back out there and see what you're up to. I think it's a lot of fun.
Exactly.
I think it'd be fun to do this again just a few years down the road to see how everybody's doing.
Yeah,
again, right?
Man. Hopefully the brand will be
yes, exactly.
Man. And it's like, I know there's people that probably see this and be like, oh, of course, someone's starting a brand. I'm like, you do not know, man. I'm like, I have manufacturers messaging me right now. Like, as we were driving, I was getting notifications, and I'm like, I know that's my manufacturer. Probably asking about my stupid zip code again. But anyway.
No, which is cool, though. I mean, hopefully in a few years, we're not going to have the same conversation. Like, oh, yeah, good friends. It's coming out soon.
Yeah, dude. I'll kill myself, I swear. Not really. But, like, man, dude, I've waited for years. There's years and years of this been sitting. So that's funny. It's ready to come out, man.
I'm excited. So shout out to the good friends. I'll tag, if you're okay with that, I'll just tag it on Instagram.
Yeah, it's fine. You could say it's like there's nothing there. I mean, the logo's sick, so people will be like, "Oh, the logo's legit. I'll follow." I've had that happen where people just follow probably because they're like, "This looks cool."
Some good branding, marketing, right there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is like, and I'll post more, dude. But yeah, if you want to tag it, all good.
Yeah, I'll do it so that way everyone can jump in the bandwagon early on and realize, oh yeah, how's this 100th follower or whatever, how many followers you have.
I know. I was gonna say because my personal sounds mad racist because it's great white gorilla draws, but the reason why is my uncle always called me white gorilla because I'm light skinned. So it's like
I've always wondered that actually.
It's backwards racist. Yeah, it's like it's not because he's racist because I'm light skinned. So he called me the white gorilla. So my little tag for everything, even games, it's like the Omega Primate. It's a reference to it. So yeah, it's just white gorilla. So it's like I know people are like, why is it white gorilla? I'm just like, only white people, bro. I only deal with white people. Like,
only white people.
No. So I know, dude. It's literally because I'm so light skinned compared to like my lineage. It's like my uncle's.
I'll be sure to put
gorilla.
That on the Instagram.
Yeah,
white gorilla. He just works with white people. Don't bother.
Yeah, he's not a white supremacist. Like, I believe the Holocaust happened, guys. Don't worry. Like,
I'm not one of those.
I'm not one of those nuts, bro.
Oh, man,
but yeah, but this has been sick, dude. Like, I mean, I had an absolute blast. I wasn't sure what to expect, but this is cool. Thank you for the drink.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad you could make it. Didn't ditch out on me.
No, dude. I know. I was literally because I wanted to message you like the day we're driving out. Because, dude, the plans are a living thing, dude. Like, my plans changed 3 times today. Like I don't think they're changing anymore.
Yeah.
But after this, I'll finish work and then I'm headed to Saratoga Springs to literally put new wheels on my car because a buddy of mine, like, I sent him to him. He's a car guy. We're gonna do a bunch of stuff, and that plan changed from Saturday to today last night. Like,
so it's all over the place, dude.
It's everywhere. So I appreciated you being cool because I was like, I don't want to think that I'm bailing. Like, that's why I sent it as soon as like I got here. I'm like, dude, I'm here. Do you want to do this then? Like, and I thought honestly it was best to do it now, like the beginning of the trip.
Just get it over with in a way, right? And just like, I'm gonna go do my thing.
Because it's like you're like, I don't know if you're like this, but my wife, it's like once we've been on a trip, it's like she kind of like gets into like flow state. And then it's like, if I try to do something, she's like, hell no, come back here. Yeah, no, exactly. I'm just like, that's my bad.
Yeah, my bad.
You know, it's cool. So this was like the perfect time. She's out with my kids. She's having fun. She doesn't give a damn what I'm doing right now. So
I'm going to post this, and she's like, what the hell is doing?
That's fine. You know, dude, like I said, 13 years in September we'll be married. So
yeah, congrats.
I know.
That's huge.
It's fine. I know. I'm old as hell.
32, man.
I know. Get up on it. I think I'm younger than like most of our year because I started in California. So it's like, are you 32 already?
I'm 32. I turned 32 in May. I didn't realize you were that young.
Yeah, August. So I'm like, so it's like similar with me and like Evan Moyai. Like he's in like September.
Evan, and so was Kope. Kope was in August.
End of August. Mm-hmm. It's like because all the poly kids are like they're like off track for some reason. It's all fob.
You come to Utah, it's like, nah, you gotta
exactly. Yeah, that's what I say. Really, they just held me back twice. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the real story. We'll jump into that next time.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, cool. It's dope, dude.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate you coming,
man.
It was good catching up with you, for real though.